our second expert of today. And she comes to us from Kenosha, Wisconsin, Barbara Beckley. Barbara is the founder of Diamond Factor Experience Network, a purpose and visionary strategist. How about that? Who reminds us that we have a diamond in us. I got a little tiny diamond. We have a diamond in us. Let it shine. She's a multi-award winning, international best-selling author and speaker who uses her platform for others in living a life of purpose, passion, and drive. Her PPD. As a producer host of several streaming TV shows, the most pronounced and more recent success is Coach's Lounge with Barbara Beckley, 9 a.m. Eastern time every Friday. She leverages the microphone and social media techniques, and she's pretty much a wizard on that, to provide visibility for men and women around the world. Barbara Beckley, welcome. Uh-oh, you're muted.
Can you hear me? Thank you so much, Mrs. Debra Morrison. How are you doing today? This is an honor and a privilege. I appreciate this.
Well, it's right back at you. Now, listen, in the introductory Facebook videos, I teased the audience with your PPD. So explain this concept and why it's so important for folks to understand their PPD.
Well, it starts off by saying to yourself, the first P means purpose.
Yeah.
Second P means passion and drive. And I sum it up by saying, I always tell people that your purpose is your internal vision and direction in life.
Yeah.
Because everybody has a different purpose.
Yeah.
And I always want to let people know that you can't be a Debra Morrison or a Barbara Beckley or anybody else in the audience. You have to be you. And that's just so important. So that's your vision. That's your internal vision that keeps you going.
Yeah.
And then with the passion, that's the fuel to action. So that pushes that purpose, that push every time somebody says you can't do it, or those earthquakes and floods, I always say, that comes to your life. That passion comes in and says, no, it's not what I just want to do. I have to do it.
I have to do
it. And then that D, your drive. Now, some people ask me, well, Barbara, the drive, isn't that like the fuel? Isn't that like putting, the gas to the pedal? And I'm like, no, what it is your story of your life. We look at, things that we went through, good, bad, and ugly, I always say. But that's going to remind you on why you have to, it goes back to reminding your purpose and back to reminding your passion. I always look back, Debra, at the things that I went through, being bullied, being sexually molested, having cancer, losing my dad at the age of 17. And basically he was murdered, not just taken away from me. I look at it. And those are my drives, because I had to let people know the connection to give people hope. So that's where I really founded that PPD. And I look at that as an anchor for every person in life.
Wow. So let's just recap. You were bullied in school, sexually abused. Your beloved dad was murdered when you were age 17, after which your mom apparently became more of Sergeant Beckley, eager to read your upcoming book on that. And you're a cancer survivor. How did you weather these earthquakes or tsunamis and bust through those barriers, Barbara? Tell us how you did it.
Well, when it started, like I said, at the age between 7 and 12, I was bullied heavily in school. So at that time, and I always tell people, always look around for the gifts in your life. And I call them that because there's always going to be somebody, person, place, or thing, I say, that's going to drive you to your way, even though everybody else is trying to drive you the other way. So being bullied was trying to drive me in a direction to say, you're nothing. I mean, people used to tell me, Debra, you're nothing. You're ugly. You're fat. You're not going to be nothing. I mean, they were calling me an alien. I mean, that's how bad it got. And for 4 years dealing with that and hearing that in your ear, you tend to mold yourself in that direction. But like I said, with the gifts coming in your life, there was a wonderful teacher that came up to me and said, every day, Barbara, after school, I am going to give you the words in your ear to block out those other words.
Oh, wow.
And she said, you're like a diamond in the rough, and you're just building you. Because once you get older, it's going to all come to life. And in my mind, I'm like, I just want those words to stop. And she stopped them between her and then my dad, who was the love of my life.
Yes.
And it's funny, Debra, because my teacher was telling me I was diamond in the rough. I came home 2 days later, and my dad from school, when I was coming from school back and forth, and 2 days after that, my dad said, you know what? Because he would give me these bear hugs, and he was like, you're just a diamond in the rough. And I was like, okay, wait a minute. Are they talking? What's going on here? The universe. See, that's what I'm saying. Person, places, or things. And then from that point, I said, okay, well, I have some people in my, here that's telling me, my dad, my teacher. And then what happened? This is what turned the tables down. Age of 17. Never forget, it was in November. Never forget the day. The worst phone call that ever came in.
Oh my God.
To my mother, because at that time my mother and dad were separated. They were divorced.
Yes.
And to hear on the other line that they found my dad in his apartment. This is a man that I basically looked up to as my diamond.
God.
To the point, Debra, I wanted to either take my own life away.
Yeah.
I was just that bad off. And with Sergeant Beckley, she got her name because she was a tough 4'11" lady. And through all that, she still, yes, she was a short lady, but she was tall in my eyes.
Yeah.
And she was the one that kept telling me, no matter what, you got to get over, and I'm like, get over it? How am I going to do this? What are you talking about? So she basically called the paramedic because she just said, I just needed some help. And I was on a 72-hour suicide wall. Yeah. And within that time, the change happened, Debra. Because the nurse came in, remember the gifts I told you about in life, came in the room, looked at me, did my vitals. I was laying there just still because they gave me sedatives. And she was about to walk out the room, came back and told me, something is telling me that you shouldn't be thinking about what you're going to do. Because something's just saying that you're just like this diamond in the rough. Now, she didn't know my dad.
Oh my
She
God.
didn't know my teacher. And when that hit me to my head and to my heart, that was the change, Debra, that I knew I had that PPD coming. And that was my purpose, to move forward, have my voice, and live on to do what I need to do.
Oh, wow. The mental telepathy, the international, the energy, the insight, the connectivity at precisely the moment you most needed it. I'm gobsmacked. I mean, I am grateful to God because you and your life has been such a witness to this spirit, gutsy spirit, and this tenaciousness of survival and success. Amazing. And I honor you. I honor you, Queen. I honor you.
Thank you. Took one queen to all the queens to your queen. Yes. And that's why, Debra, every day now I get so excited, especially working with women.
Yeah.
So they can understand their PPD. We only get this one life. And, we hear it all the time. Other speakers, you hear from everybody saying, live this life. You don't want things to die in the cemetery, all that, your gifts and everything. And I always say, yeah, you don't want that to die because you're going to be changing people's lives. What your gifts are, what you have, that's right. You're changing other people's lives. And it doesn't have to be on big stages.
Right.
One-on-one, daily.
Right
On a
there.
daily
Right
basis,
there.
Right there. Yeah.
Right there. Whew. Now, I always like to swing from the emotion to the intellect because like you can't really smash them together without compromising both. So let's come back to the intellect for a moment, notwithstanding that emotional impact. You have an accounting and a business management degree and a health administration degree. Now, how have you woven these skill sets and this formal training and then your experience into helping others know how important they are, Barbara?
So one of the things that when I grew up, my mother and dad pushed and pushed me because I was the only child. So they kept saying, Barbara, whatever you do, you're going to get your education. You're going to make sure that you stay in school, graduate high school, go to college and get every degree that they think of. Yeah. Well, I went up to bachelor's, so I'm really proud of myself at that point. And I did get it in accounting, and I got business management, and I also got health administration. And some people ask me, they say, okay, business, you're working in the insurance industry, because that's what I've been doing for over 30 years. And accounting, I can see that too, you know, with the financial part. But health, that's something a little bit different. And see, I would say that because this was me looking ahead, preparing myself, forecasting what was going out there in the world on what you needed to do to prepare yourself and what was going to happen. I looked at the forecast of the world and it was saying that the health industry was going to be growing more and more. So what did Barbara do? And what did my parents tell me? Get an education. And I went and got another degree. So I told myself, I said to do that. But then, Debra, see, I'm saying changes, and this is where it goes back to your purpose. I was doing all this education, working in insurance. I'm still working in insurance as of today. Loved it, enjoyed it. But there was still something there that wasn't really right for me. And I had to always go back to that turning point when I told you the episode with my dad and the whole thing of my purpose. And I said, I'm not really doing what I need to do by letting the women know about their purpose. I just feel like I was just sitting at the desk working with my clients saying, okay, that's it. But again, came back around and said, I'm going to use these tools, use these skills that I have to get to that other side of it. And that's what I did. And then, but I had to work on speaking, I had to work on communication. So Debra, like 12 years ago, and this is short distance, I was very shy. I mean, no one didn't even know who I was at my own company. And I was there for 15 years at the time. They knew I did a good job, but they were like, but they said, Barbara, we love you dearly. You do a wonderful job with clients, but we don't really know who you are. You don't talk to anybody. You just come in and you go out.
Head down, do your job. Yeah.
Yeah, just, but I knew it's still, like I said, that inner, like I tell you, that inner vision that you have. And some just told me, I need to do something different. And again, the gifts, remember I told you the gifts in your life. My manager believed in me so much. She said, we're going to fix this. You got to talk. We need to know who you are. Because if you're trying to be a leader, and see, didn't even understand she was not preparing me for leadership, more so in my company, but a leader throughout the world. She was preparing me by telling me that.
That's right. That's right. And since you've been, you got the NAACP Image Award, you're an ABC's KMET Radio, iHeartRadio, Blog Talk Radio, Conversations Radio Network. I mean, you have catapulted any of these barriers and that shyness. And we are grateful because you have done that. Now, I think you're going to share a powerful story with us if we're lucky. Will you do that?
Yes. I wanted to do a powerful story. So one thing I said earlier about saving lives, okay? And everybody, like you said, you have that gift in them. So one of the things that I do is I work with women with social media world, because that's a whole nother world. And some told me, this happened last year, Barbara, I want you to post, this was my inner talk. I want you to post something. I want you to post your thing of your dad, but a short story of what you went through with your dad. And I was thinking to myself, well, people heard the story. Why am I, you have those back and forth. That's us as women. We kind of sway back for a minute, right?
Yep.
But then it was just really that whole day, and the end of the day it said, do it.
Yeah.
Post this post on Facebook. And I'm like, okay. So I posted it. And and when you post something, if you share, people share it out, likes and all that. So it was shared out like 20 something times. I was like, wow, okay. Maybe that's the reason why in my head it said to post it. So I went through my day. Next morning, I received a messenger through Facebook. And it was this lady, she was a young lady, 19, 20 years old. And she said, Barbara, I know you don't know me. I received your post yesterday from a friend of mine, from a friend, from a friend.
Yes.
And I said, okay, yeah, I said, then I was thinking to myself, I said, okay, in the back of your mind, you're thinking negative already, like, is she about to slam me about
Yes,
something?
exactly. Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
you messaged me like this. And she said, I just want to say, when I heard your post, because I did a video post.
Yes.
I was at the moment where I was about to slit my arm and give. But when I heard your voice and you told your story about how you went through with your dad's death, I said, maybe I need to stop because there's something that I'm missing here that I need to move forward. Debra, I cried, I think, for close to an hour. And that told me right there, see how one post saved a person's life. And I want to say to everybody, all the women or men out there that's listening right here about, Deborah's talking about barriers and this busting. We have to bust these barriers because you don't know who you're talking. When you talk to somebody, you don't know what they're going through, what they're dealing with, what hurricanes, what they're dealing with. And when they hear your story or hear what you're doing or see what you're doing, that's when I tell people you are saving lives, that you're that lighthouse for people to come back to. I know, Deborah, I did an emotional thing again.
That's okay.
I wanted this to hit home because see how powerful it is for everybody to have their PPD and make sure they understand that.
Wow. Wow. What a gift you are, Barbara, in writing that post. And then we think through the people that shared it. So as we're seeing posts on social media, hearing stories, let's share it. Because there are people out there, perhaps dying to hear it. And some deaths happen a little bit at a time, right? Mm-hmm. And the hope that you gave this woman, the life you gave this woman, you and we are just expecting that is catapulted, and I'll use the compounding term because that's my want, again and again and again. And so you have paid it forward, and she will pay it forward, and all those that she knows will pay it forward. One drop, as we'll have another one of our esteemed guests, one drop, and all the drops together, we make an ocean. Barbara Beckley, my heart is moved. My mind is stimulated. My soul is uplifted with you, the recovery, the busting through, and the we can do it attitude. You rock, my friend. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And everybody watching.
Well, now we have 10 minutes. So pepper Barbara with your questions. Come on. The door's open. Give her whatever it is that's on your mind that you can use to catapult yourself to the next chapter of your mission, success, your why. Who wants to go first?
So if you would like to ask a question or a comment, go ahead and simply unmute yourself or hit *6 on your device. We should be in good shape for all of that. And I see Olivia is opened up.
Hello, Barbara. So great to hear and see you. The last time I saw you was on the podcast. So great to see you today.
Yes.
My question is, you talked about your dad and the experience of losing him. And this often, I think, impacts a lot of families when you lose that, especially when it comes to our finances, we lose that primary income. Not only, we're grieving the fact that we have now lost our loved one, which is all in and of itself so very challenging. And then you may have the additional burden of trying to navigate your way through the financial aspect, because I too lost my father, not as tragic as yours, but through via cancer. And him being the primary breadwinner in our home was so, it impacted us. Yeah. In fact, so much so that during the recession of 07 and 08, we lost our home. Oh my. So what ways do you suggest, or, in terms of bringing back and being able to have that, bust those barriers in terms of like family and community, and especially financially, to be prepared, because we're not ever prepared for death, but we can somehow prepare ourselves financially for those who continue to live on. And so what ways were you able to overcome in your family in order to do that?
Good question. Thank you, Olivia, and nice to hear your voice. One thing that I had to do is to go back and think about the good times with my dad. Because like I said, he was my rock in my life. So I had to go back and think about that. And then I had to really let it go. What I mean by let it go, by saying, okay, I'm upset, I'm angry, I'm upset at the world. Because I was upset at the world. I mean, I was upset at everybody. Of course. I didn't have to even know who you were, and I was upset. So I had to let that breathe out, because if I didn't, then everything that I was moving forward to was going to be rocky, because I didn't let my feelings out. And I did it, and other people have different ways, and I call it having your anchor. So my anchor was, first of all, my dad, living on for his legacy, because I want to do that. My second anchor, and you had to be careful with this though, was working in my drive to keep on getting my education. Because at that time I was 17 years old, and I was just about to graduate from high school. I was like 5 months away from graduating from high school, and I graduated with honors. And a lot of people were like, really like, what? You just, because everybody knew about what happened with my dad. So I had to take that and say to myself, which direction am I going to go here? Would he want me to sit back and go the other route? And then all the things that they said, he said, my teacher said, everybody said about this diamond, would he want to see that? Would I want him to see that? And I know he's still here now. Yeah. So one thing, just summing it all up, Olivia, is that I would just say that, first of all, ground yourself with an anchor, hold on to that with dear life, because sometimes your dear life is going to happen, because it's going to have the earthquake and floods that you're maneuvering through. And then always remember that you're leaving a legacy, not just for yourself and your life, but you leave a legacy for others that are watching you, and you want to keep moving forward.
Thank you, Barbara.
Beautiful, beautiful. I see Lawana Bradford is unmuted, and I put links in the chat. Do you want to talk about the Celebrate You event and them scheduling with you, Barbara, before Lawana comes on?
Yes. Thank you. So this on the 22nd and the 23rd of July, Celebrate You, group, me and my partner in crime, I call her my business partner and friend, Lawana Bradford, and Mrs. Durante Zorg. I see she's here too. We basically said, okay, it is time for Celebrate You to get to that, to elevate and have an international virtual conference. So that is coming up in a few more weeks. Again, we're going to have wonderful speakers and panelists to talk about 5 aspects in your life, and that's financial, emotional, physical. I have to make sure mental. I'm saying mental. Fitness and mental. Thank you. I always got to do this when I'm saying it. So we would love to see you there to come and be a part of the conference. We are just very excited about it. And we've been really just telling people. And for the ticket, it's only $15, and the proceeds, again, goes to help heal humanity. So we're all in conjunction with that.
Well, and I'm remiss, thank you, Barbara, for not crediting Barbara and Lawana for introducing me to help heal humanity, because it was through their relationship with Serena that I became familiar with her and her work. So all credit where credit is due. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Awesome. And okay, Luana and then Anne.
Yes, Barbara, you're amazing as always. I salute and honor you. And I just want to say Debra Morrison will be joining us on the international stage as well. But this is a question that I have for you, and you and I've talked about this before. There's a lot of people who are out there, waving the Find Your Purpose banner. But the one thing that you talk about is we can be excited and passionate, if you want to call that, about a lot of things. And that's very different from what your purpose is, right? So like I'm very passionate about, green space and saving the whales, for example, but that's not my purpose. So how do you work with your clients and when you're on the stages to help people understand that there really is a difference between the things that we're interested in, that we are fighting for as far as causes, but our divine gifting to leave that lasting impression on the world?
Thank you, Ms. Luana. So yes, so what I tell people when it comes to your purpose is, like I said, it's that internal vision that you have, and it deals with your values and your beliefs and what you trust in yourself. So with that, that's always going to be there because you're always going to have your values. You're always going to trust in what you trust in. And that kind of creates, when I always tell people, little boundaries for yourself when it comes to your purpose. Because if somebody comes to you, like, I don't believe in violence, gun violence. That's in my mind. So if anybody starts saying, well, Barbara, you want to have a gun shop, whatever, something like that, I'm like, no, that's not my belief. That's not my value. That's not in my gut. That's not the purpose that I want to do. So that's going to deal with you inside internally to make sure you're going the right way. So with your purpose, things are going to change your life because we get older. We're moving forward. You're going to be doing different things. You're going to have a passion for something, but your purpose will always be that inner vision that you have of you, your gifts that you have, the values that you believe in. And that's what I tell people, that's where that purpose lies at.
Brilliant.
Awesome. Thanks, Luana. Do we have time for?
Thank you, Barbara.
Yes, we do. One more question.
All right, Anne Puglisi.
I have a comment. I have a colleague who lost her dad to murder, and I remember her sharing that coming home from being with her mom and walking into a restaurant and saying, I'm so different in my experience now, and everyone here may be having some experience that doesn't show, but I just always remember that we don't, I think somebody already here said it, we don't know what's going on with people, but they may be carrying really deep hurt, but we just need to have compassion for people.
So true, Anne. Thank you so much for confirming that. You are so right. You never know. That's why I said it's all, when you put a smile on your face and you tell somebody you love them, you say hi to somebody, you have that conversation, be 5 seconds, it doesn't take that long, but you don't know that smile or that hello or that I love you, where it's carrying in their minds on what they're going through. So thank you, Anne.
Yes, and thank you for sharing about posting.
Yes.
Whoever was, Debra, you were suggesting that we post more. I need to do that, to share the posts, because
Yes.
what an amazing story about how it was impactful for a young woman.
Right.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome. And Barbara, you've talked a lot about, we don't know what masks people are wearing to get through, right? We don't know. And so that, those 3 words that are so deadly, I know that.
Mm.
I know. And I'm a certified grief coach as well. So there's nothing really more insensitive, I think, although I don't think people do it with malice, but people tend to come up to a grieving person and say, I know just what you're going through. You have no idea. Even if the cause of your respective loved ones was the same thing, You have no idea. And so let's open ourselves to this relationship with others and the world with a curiosity and more questions than answers. And we'll take one more question because I don't want anyone to miss Barbara's brilliance. Is there someone else that wants to give her a last question?
Check in. I don't see any hands up at the moment, so I think we're complete.
Well, that's perfect because Barbara is offering each of our attendees a 30-minute social marketing assessment for free. Well, I'm going to say complimentary because it's with Barbara's compliments that she is going to give you tips and tools to make that social media exercise and these posts much more impactful. She's going to help you hone your audience and script, if you will, from Chris, script your message so that it lands, because there's no sense in shining a little light, a little flashlight, when we can let our diamonds shine. And we have seen the diamond. I mean, if Barbara's smile doesn't light up your whole morning, afternoon, evening, her personality and her prowess and her chops just complement the whole package called Barbara Beckley. I couldn't be more happy that you were with us today. Thank you, dear one. Blessings on you.
Thank you, Debra. Blessings on you too, Queen.
Thank you.